Hello, it's Nathan here from St Mary's Church in Fetcham, and whether you're a young person from St Mary's or from the local area or from further afield, you are very welcome to this video. The idea of this video is to hopefully bring a bit of fun and a bit of encouragement during this time that, most of us are staying at home and not seeing anybody, and also to help us not get too bored, and we'll try and do one every single week. So I guess we're going to call these videos St Mary's Youth at Home, which is quite a good name, I think. So this video is going to have three parts. Firstly, a fun challenge. Secondly, a little thought. And thirdly, a little section that I'm going to call Over to You. Okay, so the first part of this video is where I receive a challenge. Okay, so Esther, my wife, has thought of a challenge, and I don't know what it is, but Esther's going to give it to me now, I think.
There you go.
Thank you. Let me just ooh, fun. Okay, so create a self-portrait using the paintbrush and paint provided. You can hold the paintbrush between your thumb and forefinger only, but must have your eyes closed. If you use any other part of your body, you can have your eyes open. Do not use your mouth. You have 2 minutes. Starting now. Okay, a self-portrait. Here I go. Okay, I'm going to choose the thumb and forefinger eyes closed option. Okay. Oh gosh, I can't even see this though. Okay. Do I start now? Oh,
yeah,
I start now.
this time started already.
Okay. I can't see the colours. I should have chosen another. This is so hard. Where's the paint? Can't find the paint. I think I'm painting the grass.
Okay, you've got about a minute remaining.
Oh, put my thumb in. Okay.
Oh, just your thumb and forefinger. I see another hand getting involved. Other hand behind, away.
Oh, I didn't realise that. I was just thinking other details. Maybe hair. Oh, I can't hold the paper. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time is up. That's funny. The grand reveal. Ta-da! Okay, so the idea is, you may not want to get too messy, but you can also try the challenge as well. So if you'd like to try the challenge as well, which
in your garden.
In your garden, maybe not inside, unless you've got a nice tarpaulin inside. Try and do the challenge. Maybe post a picture somewhere, maybe on Facebook or on an email. Email me. It'd be funny to see your pictures as well. Awesome. Thank you, Esther.
Thank you.
So I want to begin this little thought by telling you a story. And the story begins with a little man. There once was a man who was travelling along a road carrying a really heavy rucksack. He had been walking for hours and was struggling with the weight of his bag. But then, in the distance, driving towards him, was a guy in a pickup truck. The guy driving the truck saw that the man walking was struggling, so he offered to give the man a lift to help him out. In relief, the man carrying the rucksack jumped into the back of the pickup truck, and they carried on with their journey. A few minutes into the journey, the guy driving looked into his mirror and was confused, as even though the man had accepted the lift, he was standing up in the back of the pickup truck, still carrying his rucksack on his back. So the reason I told that story was because in this time, this new time and new season that we're in, it can be really easy to start to worry or start to be anxious. And it can sometimes feel like maybe we are carrying a heavy load, or we're carrying a heavy rucksack, just like the man in the story. And one of the awesome things which is found in the Bible is a moment where Jesus says to his disciples, he says this: "Come to me, all of you who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest." And each of us have this invitation to give God our worries, give God the concerns and the things that we carry around on our back. And maybe we feel like we're kind of weighed down by the things that we worry about. And sometimes we kind of hear that verse, or we think we know that we can give our worries to God, but actually sometimes we don't actually give our worries to God. Like the man in the story who, he got into the pickup truck, but he didn't actually take his bag off. He didn't actually lighten his load. He just kind of, went a bit faster, but was still with this, big load on his back. But something that we are called to do, and that is an invitation to each of us, is to, get into God's pickup truck, and actually just take a seat, sit down for a moment, be still, and just take off our load and just give it to God. And you can sit there just knowing that God takes your worries, He's got you, and He looks over you and loves you so much. So I wanted to give you guys something to do in response to the thought I shared about worries and concerns. And what I thought we'd do is a little activity, and it's nothing too exciting, but if you want to go and grab a piece of paper, and then what I'd love you to do is just, with that piece of paper, maybe split it into, or tear it into 3 pieces, and then on each of those pieces of paper you can write something that you're worried about, or something that you're concerned about. And it may be something to do specifically with the time that we're in at the moment, or it may just be something else. And just in response to, actually, we can give our worries to God. And so maybe just take some time, maybe after this video, or you can even pause it if you'd like to, just to write those things down. And then in response to giving God our worries, you can maybe crush them up and put them in the bin. And then maybe when you put them in the bin, you can just maybe think about that verse that Jesus says, "Come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest." And so by just chucking it in the bin, it's just a bit of a sign for us that we want to give God our worries and our concerns. Anyway, so I hope that's been helpful. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and look forward to seeing you guys soon. Bye.